The way I want to start off is first go through a kind of a pro clip of Roger Federer. I'm going to break down some of the key markers, key points, and that way it kind of gives you something to compare to when we go to your stroke. Okay. And then as we go through your stroke, I'll point out those key markers and then point out the one thing we're going to focus on today.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Great.
Okay, so I hope you know this guy,
Yes,
Roger
I
Federer.
do.
So first thing I want you to notice is his unit turn, and what I mean by unit turn, how he's using his shoulders and his arm to get the racket back. He's really hasn't moved the racket, he's just turning the shoulders. That's probably the first initial move. Also, by turning his shoulders, he's starting to turn his body, which you see the foot kind of turn. The next part, he's going to kind of get the racket set in a position so he can start swinging. So for you, you do actually a pretty good job of this.
Okay.
This is pretty consistent throughout.
Okay.
What I do want you to start focusing on is what he's going to do next, is how he takes the racket or uses his body to pull the racket through contact. So if we watch it, right here, I want you to look for two things. I think these might be the shorts where he has a little line, and I also want you to watch the Nike logo on his shirt.
Okay.
So you can see how we went from, you can fully see the Nike logo and the line on his shorts are barely visible. And then at contact, we can't see the line. And we can see we can see the line, but we can't see the logo.
Sure.
So the focus here is how he's using his body to pull the racket.
And he really hasn't moved his feet at all.
No, most of this is all happening from the hips and the shoulders.
Okay.
Okay? And because of that, let's look at the next thing is contact and the follow through. It's a very relaxed release because the body's generating the force, and then the arm is kind of left to direct the ball and relax through contact. And you see how his body continues to rotate after contact.
Right.
Okay? So let's take a look at your forehand. Great start here. That's what we saw with Roger. And as you pull the racket through, we're not seeing the body rotate.
So what's the key to that?
That's what we're going to talk about. I want to just run through a couple more so you can really see how this isn't, even though this is one shot, this is a consistent habit that you're doing. So you can see how you really got tight on the follow through there. This is the next two shots after it. So again, great setup. You saw how you get a little bit different follow through, but still very stiff in the arm.
Mm-hmm.
Again. So this is a consistent habit. To answer your question, it's really focusing on, when we go back and look at Roger, really focusing on using your hips and your shoulders to turn. So I'll get you right here.
Okay.
And what I want, let me get you on the tee really quick.
Okay.
What I want you to do is go through and shadow your stroke really slow. And what I'm going to do is kind of make a couple little tweaks to help you understand how you want to start using your body to pull your racket through. So go ahead and start in the first position like we saw in the unit turn. You're taking your racket back.
Okay.
And don't worry about the stance. Just make it feel as natural as possible.
Okay.
If you want to step, totally fine. Yes. Okay, good. Now, start here. And what I want you to think from here, instead of taking what you were doing before, is taking the racket forward, I want you to start thinking of rotating your hips. So pull your hip around, and this would be contact.
Sorry.
And then because,
now
because you're here, look where your left arm is,
right.
completely out of the way.
Right.
And then we're just gonna relax and start letting the racket going around.
Okay.
Okay, so the slow shadow I want you to go through is just, we're gonna go to position 1. And from here, you can drop the racket a little bit. And then position 2 is you're gonna turn your hips, 2, and then 3. So we're gonna really segment it first. So it's 1, 2, 3, just to get a better feel for it. And then we'll slowly start going a little faster and start making it a little bit more fluid.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So position 1. The only thing I'm gonna adjust here is making sure that you're taking it way back here.
Yes.
We just take it right there.
Okay.
That's perfect for position 2.
Okay.
All right, now, perfect for position 1. Now for position 2, all I want you to do is rotate your hips forward and stop at contact, yes? Now remember, when we rotate, the racket's gonna move with it.
Okay. I thought you wanted me to drop it.
Oh, sorry.
Too.
Let's just make it really simple. Position 1 is here.
Right.
Sometimes you might drop it. You did a great job of that.
Okay.
So just keep that there. And then position 2, here.
Okay.
And what I want you to really recognize and feel the difference of how your hip, shoulder, and racket are at contact. That's gonna be, when we start looking at the video, that's gonna be what I'm looking for and what we can always come back to compare, okay? hip, shoulder, and then we're going to finish that with that follow through. Yes. Okay. Go ahead again. So I'll kind of shadow in front of you. Position 1. We're going to rotate to position 2. Good. 3. Good. Going back to what we're talking about. Position 1. Position 2. And again, the key markers I want to use is having, I'll do it this way.
So is that better?
This is much better.
Okay.
Now, remember the key, I'm going to show you side by side, but remember the key what I said about the logo? I can't see the Adidas sign or the Nike. I can see the Nike sign, but I can't see, like we saw the complete swoosh.
Mm-hmm.
If we go side by side, look at the similarities between you and Roger with the shoulders and the hips compared to...
He's watching the racket better than I am.
And here's the other thing. Even though he's looking down...
Amazing with that.
Yeah, he's very well known for keeping his head still.
It's like unbelievable.
It's such a great trait, but even though we see that, I want you really to zone in just on turning your hips, because as we stack too many things, we're trying to keep your head and everything else.
Right.
But this is a great position, and if we compare that to where you were before,
And that a little bit.
Yeah. And again, we're really going to focus on using your hips to pull the racket into contact. Yep, good. So these look really good. The next progression is having you do this, and I'm going to toss a ball, but it's not going to be where you can hit it. A little trick to see if, as you start seeing the ball, do you get triggered and you go back to old habits?
So do you want me to make
No,
contact?
you're not going to make contact. I'm going to toss it where you can't make contact.
Okay.
But the idea of the drill is that now that you're starting to see a ball, a lot of times that, you know, if it's not like you play basketball. If I threw you a ball, automatically things start coming back. It's, You've probably done it so much as unconscious.
Exactly.
I'm trying to see if some of those old habits of not turning start to come back and get you to focus on breaking those.
2 months then.
Actually, Ian, you want to toss one?
Yeah.
So you're going to do, let's do 3 shadows.
Okay.
And then Ian's going to toss you a ball that you can't hit. And then you're just going to kind of see if you can time it where the ball might be. And just don't even pay attention to it. Sorry, don't even worry about it. Let me confuse you a little bit more.
He's like, you guys are nuts.
Yes, good. Good job on the follow through.
Sorry, you said 2 shadows?
3.
3?
3. Relax that arm through 2. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's a great. So again, 3 markers we're looking for is hip, racket, and the shoulder. One thing that I'll say and stress is that your shoulder's going actually a little bit farther past. That's totally okay.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So you see where your shoulder now,
Okay.
it's awesome. But if it goes a little bit more, I'm totally okay with it. I would actually prefer, in some sense, that you go a little bit, overdo it a little bit. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when we start getting to possibly giving you a real ball, everything's always going to kind of jump back.
Sure.
So if we overdo it, totally fine. But this position, awesome. Okay, here we go. That's good. So a little bit there, subtle difference. So that's the ball a little bit. Still really good position, just as we continue to move forward. It's easy for little habits to creep back in.
Right.
Okay, so 2 swings and Ian's gonna toss you a ball. Good.
Same swing.
Okay,
It's nice, Kevin. Same swing.
good. Now you're gonna do 2 shadows and Ian's gonna give you 2 hits. Okay. Good, Kevin.
Same thing. Same thing.
Good, Kevin. Yeah, you're starting to on the shadows, inch to shoulder pass parallel, which is really good. And just, again, what Ian was talking about, how fluid your swing has become now that you're using more of your body. Okay. Yeah.
Not bad.
No.
It's a little bit better than not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad compared to Roger. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. It's really good. Excuse me. So we're going to start off here.
Okay.
Ian's going to, are you good? Okay, awesome. Ian's going to toss you a ball this time. We're going to go through 3 shadows.
Okay.
And like you said before, I want you to really focus on getting the shoulder pass.
Okay.
I'm not even really concerned with contact. I know you're thinking contact. I'm more concerned with the shoulder, because then once you get that feeling of where it is, then we can kind of cue in contact. I still want you to make contact, but if you're like, oh, I have to make contact, I want this to be the first priority. Okay?
Absolutely.
So 3 shadows,
Okay.
and then we're gonna have Ian feed you 1 ball, or toss you 1 ball. Okay? So really focus on, like we're talking about, that shoulder opening up, or the chest opening up, and so the shoulder can be in front. Yes. Good job, Kevin. Just like that. Open up. Nice relaxed follow through. Good tempo. Okay.
It's so rare we see students exaggerate.
Yeah.
I love
You did it a
I
few
love
times,
seeing
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, you probably think we're nuts and the ball's
Yeah.
like sitting over there, and you're like, that's great.
I was intentionally trying to do that and say get those
Yeah,
around.
yeah, love seeing that. It shows a great deal of kinesthetic awareness that you're able to actually go past what we're looking for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's really good.
that's awesome. There you go.
That's good too.
It's all right.
Nope.
It's okay. As long as you're like seeking and searching on both sides of the standard, you know what I'm saying? We just don't want to see you 90% over on the late side of things.
Right.
If you're going back and forth, you're going to find it eventually.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
wow,
good.
yeah.
That's good there.
That's really good.
Nice job. So the fact that you're swinging back and forth is not a bad thing. It's actually great. It shows that you're aware enough to continue to try to correct. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow. Starting to get more of these.
Yeah.
What's your focus, do you think, when you're getting to that? What are you focusing on mainly?
The turn.
The turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And really trying to focusing on getting this out in front and just trying to keep my arm back a little bit.
So you're feeling that lead with the
That's-
chest
yeah,
and okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row.
I think it's important to figure out what you're feeling, you know what I mean? And so that way you can recreate it,
Right.
especially when we're not here
Right.
asking, you know, so that way we can keep note and
Yeah, good.
you can use that. That's really good.
It's like Ian was talking about, you're kind of going, you'll hit a couple in a row and then you're going to go back and forth, but even when you're going back, this is super subtle.
Right.
And that's what we want. The progress is being made. Let's scoot them back a little bit. No. So let's get you right here.
Okay.
And let's go through the same thing of, let's go 2 and 4. 2 shadows, continue to really fine and start sooner. Yes. What do you think?
Yes and no.
Yes and no? Okay. Let's see if we have more yeses than nos. Gonna kind of breeze through all your shadows. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's Ian's fault.
I think it is important to mention too that this doesn't mean that every single ball that you hit on your forehand, you're going to be like this, like every single one,
Right.
depending upon, you know, where it is, what type of ball it is, that kind of thing.
Who's
But it's
coming
just
at me,
a,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just a good marker to
Yeah.
help you learn to use your body more
Right.
Yeah.
and arm less.
It's like when you're in position and you have time to set up and you're not being stressed, this is what we're looking for.
Right, right.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, good. Little arm starts creeping in, I think in the middle of it. I was trying to,
Yeah, and you got
Yeah.
me relaxed.
yeah, that's a good adjustment. Going back from this one, and then you turn around.
Yeah, open it up a lot more.
Good. So let's scoot back to the baseline.
Okay.
One thing I'm gonna start interjecting now, is because now there's a little bit more room for the ball to make adjustments, is your feet.
Right.
We haven't really talked about your feet, and I've
Right.
done that on purpose.
Right, me too.
Yeah.
I haven't used them on purpose. I want to focus on the body.
What I want you to do as far as the feet is just make it feel natural.
Right.
So I don't want to give you some prescribed, like your feet have to do this, but do what you would normally do to get yourself in position.
Right.
Just incorporate opening the body,
Right.
okay?
Okay.
Easy with the new toy.
I know.
Here we go.
Good.
Getting much
Do you
better.
see, I know you maybe accelerated a little fast at times, but do you see how much less effort and
Oh,
how much
yeah.
more power? And like, you were hitting the ball faster there than you did, I think, the whole warm-up, correct or not?
Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah, and with minimal
Yeah.
amounts of effort.
Yeah.
The more simple you can make it and the more minimal effort, the more you can recreate it.
Curious. Huh. Yeah, just, it's good. That's, I give you an A.
Okay.
Actually, I give you an A. It's pretty parallel. It's nice and relaxed. I think the real huge thing, yeah, you started hitting a little harder, is how relaxed you are now. And as long as you continue to focus on opening up, that one we're a little bit behind. As long as you continuously focus on opening up, it just opens up so many more avenues for your game now on your forehand side to create more. So now we're going to do a little bit of movement.
Okay.
Okay, so all we're going to do is focus on you moving over and doing what you're doing right now. Okay?
Right.
So I'm going to have you shadow starting from here, just coming out here, probably to about right here, and then swing. Yep, and continuously focus on getting that shoulder to be in front. Keep the relaxation. It's better. Yeah. These are really good. A little tight there. So, give you B plus, A, shoulders. Got a little tension there, but still good. Ooh, good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. This is where you were before. This is where you are now.
That's probably best case scenario before on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks so much
That's-
smoother and that's more.
Just like leave it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huge. Not enough, but so much better. Look like I'm shoveling them.
Yeah.
On the right track now.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
now
perfect yet, but
that's a huge
it's only
jump.
been a couple hours.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
give yourself a little more time.
And that's a huge change. I mean, you changed your finish, you changed leading with the
Yeah.
body instead of your arm, which changes your timing and it changes everything. So don't think of it as a small tweak by any means. It's a complete makeover.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. And then, yeah, there's other little things we can work on, but the core of what we're working on, that will take your game to the next level. Because with the mechanics you had earlier, you're hindered by your swing.
Right.
There's nowhere else to go. Now, I mean, you see it. It's like the amount of power and efficiency you now have compared to what you were doing before.
Right.
So good job.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah,
Oh.
awesome, great job.